Rock and roll? Yeah, let's do it. Ready? Yeah. Oh, hold on. Another song. All right, ready? Here we go. I am no passion killer here, and it don't matter now. I never make the same mistakes, and it don't matter now. Why you gotta treat me this way? It don't matter now. Why you gotta act this way when it don't matter now? I'm in control. Don't see my face. My brain is so cold. You don't turn down. Until I know. Not take mistakes. Ooh, there's no better time. I say we'll celebrate. Never do nothing wrong. Until I feel this song. I say never do my nothing wrong. Until I sing this song. Check it out. No passion to the hell, and it don't matter now. When was the line, I do it time, and it don't matter now. Why you gotta take that train when it don't matter now? Why you gotta pray when it don't matter now? I'm in control, don't take the bait. Don't play the soul, go on to celebrate. It's not the show, just see the face. Ooh, there's no better time. I feel it, get broken. Never do the rock and roll until I feel this song. I said never do the rock and roll until I sing this song. Hey Brian, where the baby goes?
That was pretty awesome, guys. I let y'all get set up. That went really well.
Nice. We're moving the camera so we can sit down and talk to you, all right?
We're here with the baby goats, guys. We're gonna get with them as soon as they get situated. Kind of got the jitters, but I'm gonna get in here and get in to do. I kind of got to do what I got to do too. So let's see what we can do here. It'll be quick, and we'll go here. Oh, kind of like a behind the scenes kind of thing. There we go. Everybody gets to see the adjustment of the picture in picture.
Maybe lower that all the way down the bottom.
I are the same height.
How so?
I don't know.
Because
I'm usually like this when I'm playing, and a couple times you kind of came over like this. I'm like, dude, look at that. You cut a line right across.
I would have yeah, kind of maybe
Can you still can't see all of us, huh?
exactly. Just almost there, almost. Hey. And
that's probably close, huh?
You want to twist the microphone? There we go.
Trying to set up the microphone so that way we can hear you a little better.
Okay. Do you want? I can turn up. Oh shit.
That ain't it. It's coming out of my. Hold on. Yeah, I'm as loud as it's gonna get. Let's see if I can. Of course.
Are they going to be able? Yeah. Are they going to be able to hear us good enough through the phone?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think so. You can hear us, okay, right?
Perfectly.
Okay. This is just so we can hear you. We're gonna take a microphone and put it up on the phone.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, maybe, huh? All right, go ahead and say something.
Yo.
You hear that?
So we can hear you in our speakers now, so.
Oh, that's good.
How's that look? Does that look all right?
Yeah, y'all look very charming. So how's it going, man? I'm Brian. Welcome to Local Riffs Season 2, Episode 13. Guys, we're here with the Baby Goats out of Los Angeles, California. It's very awesome to have y'all here. I know it's over via Instagram call, but hey, whatever it takes to get it done. So y'all performed a little live ditty at the beginning. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, that's a song called Sing This Song. It's the latest single off our debut album. The debut album is called Electricity, and we just released the song last Friday, actually. So we figured we would start with that. Available on all platforms, as every band on planet Earth now says. This is Greg. Sorry, hold on. How do I do this? This is Pickle. He's our our drummer, and this is Lance, our guitar player. All right.
Hi.
And my name is Chance, and we're the Baby Goats.
Oh, I think I hear my cat. Sorry, guys. Oh my gosh. I knew she was going to do that. Sorry, everybody out there too, because it's probably going to be in the freaking shit anyway. Oh well. So yeah, I was checking out some of the EP. Man, I have to say that y'all's description on in your Spotify, because I listen to everything on Spotify. To me, it's a quality thing, and it's accessible, really easy, and I don't know, but dude, y'all have a very good I would say understanding of all of the descriptions that y'all, it was like, okay, you wanted it, you get it, and you just listed a lot of bands and artists that I can hear a lot of all of those mixed into your music, but at the same time I can also see where y'all are taking it kind of, making a stand on your own with it, not just kind of reinventing the wheel or anything, but taking grab of making your own kind of. And I thought disco funk, before I even read anything. I just listening to it, and it really reminds me of a part of music that almost was lost when all of that was coming about, transitioning from disco into the electronic, into the pop, and more mainstream. And but yeah, I think y'all hit a lot of notes of all that. What kind of inspirations like really stick out in y'all's music writing? And y'all can go through each one of y'all's inspirations if you want, but I know a lot of artists say, "Oh, I'm inspired by a zillion people and all," but what really grabs the inspiration for y'all, for y'all's own individual style of writing?
I feel like you've sort of nailed it. I mean, I think we're kind of looking at sort of nostalgic stuff that we grew up with, that we liked, and we're trying to write some new stuff that is where our heart is and where our writing and where we are, you know, musically, where, you know, we can grow from.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
80s
Sorry.
hair metal.
What's that?
I said
Mic drop.
I said and 80s hair metal.
Yeah.
Well, that's where your heart is.
Yeah, that's what made me start wanting to play guitar and all that stuff. And then, you know, then you start getting into the kind of the more poppy side back then of the new wave, and it's
The MTV generation.
Yeah, but once you start like hearing that stuff, I mean, you go with like a Billy Idol, where that's kind of the best of both worlds. You know, he's considered a like new wave artist, but you've got Steve Stevens, who is a really rocking guitar player, who melds that heavy guitar really well with all the electronic elements, and it's just like, it's kind of, you know, it's like I basically just write stuff that I want to listen to, and that kind of, you know, and that kind of like melding of the arts, you know, that kind of electronic with the heavier stuff really kind of is kind of our pipeline.
And about that time too, there was a lot of guitarists, you know, mentioned, you know, with your guitar playing, like I think what George Thorogood, they were stepping out of some like different kinds of rock and stuff back then to more of like a mainstream, more of like a blues kind of jazz along those lines, and still staying true. And I like the Billy Idol thing, man, because you're right. It's like a it's heavy or hard rock, but it's just more punchy, I guess would say, instead of more like a metal or anything. But yeah, I like how those versatilities come through, and you still stay true to the, you know, what they're trying to, you know, do too. Chance, what about you, man?
Well, you know, the thing is, I mean, my background is pretty similar to the guys. I think, however, I almost want to draw it back to the band, you know, and when we first came together, you know, I was writing some stuff and showing to the guys were starting to contribute. And I said, what if we just did the stuff that made us happy when we were kids, you know, rather than trying to be, you know, I mean, everyone kind of went through the 90s or whatever and tried to be an alternative rock band, followed in that Nirvana path or whatever. But we almost lost sight of the stuff that was fun, you know, and I think that's why the 80s and the late 70s was such a great era for music, because a lot of it was integrity based, but also fun, you know? And I'm not saying that it needs to be fun. It just so happens to be. I feel like it's really authentic, you know? So when we sat down, we're like, what kind of bands are you into? You know, I mean, we've got Police in our background, you know, even though you may not hear it. You know, we've got Blondie and Talking Heads in our background, even though you may or may not hear it. And that's okay, you know? And it's
Rush.
And Rush. You'd be surprised how often we play Rush at practice. It's almost become an inside joke. No, it's become a joke.
Not again.
No, yeah, exactly. The point I'm trying to make, though, I think, is that you know, we listen to some bands that are performing nowadays, and a lot of them are, if they're being nostalgic, they're also being a closed loop. I don't think that they're necessarily offering anything new, and I think that's one of our almost requirements. Is that, yeah, sure, we can kiss the cheek of our inspiration, but we also, how can it be fresh? And sometimes it's just a matter of mixing shit up in a blender. You know, you might have a song that's kind of Billy Idol tone, but then all of a sudden it'll have The Cure as an underpinning, or it might be it might be The Cure as its main focus, but all of a sudden it has a Faith No More guitar riff coming out, you know, or it might have a Niles Rodgers kind of a funk guitar tone. So we really take a lot of pleasure in that, because what it does at the end of the day is, does it excite us? Does it make us feel like, ooh, that was fucking cool? Or are we going, oh, is the crowd gonna like that? Because if we're thinking that, then we've lost the game.
You know, and
game, set, match, it's over, you know.
And coming from those kinds of inspirations, I mean, a lot of people, I don't like to say a lot of people, but most, like you're saying, when you think of those bands that you named as far as inspirations and people that's heard or listened to those, have they listened to the B-sides? You know, have they listened to the songs that wasn't, you know, or aren't, because even those, like those artists, you know, when those hits are happening, yes, they're great songs and stuff like that, but I still think the creativity is better in the ones that didn't make it. You know, it just seemed like it was just one person's opinion that liked and said, hey, this is good enough to put out there. And not only that, like I've gotten inspiration from like artists like you're saying that most people never even heard some of the songs before. They've heard of the artist, but and of course, you know, the mainstream stuff kind of thing. And you you said kiss the cheek, right? You know, I was going to ask, you know, like from out there in Los Angeles, and I see y'all, you know, catching traction. And there's a lot of bands. Well, there's a good handful that I follow from out there in that area on the West Coast, and I haven't really talked to them. I've interviewed 3 of them, but out here there's more of like a local scene that has like a. It's all kinds of ways. It's punk. It's everything, you know, and there is a lot more people there in, you know, LA area and stuff and on the West Coast. Is there a like a underground scene that's tried and true, and like the venues and the shows that y'all play, what kind of crowd comes in there? Is it just like locals or yeah, there we go.
The thing with Los Angeles now, there has never really been a true scene since probably the hair metal days. You know, it is very, very balkanized. But if you start to understand Los Angeles a little more, you find out that Los Angeles really isn't one big city. It's 10,000 little ones. You know, so you have to sort of understand that as a concept and not let that bother you. We have this one particular venue, let's call it, that we play at called Borders. And on Friday nights, it's a club called Club Decades. On Saturday nights, it's a club called Bars Sinister. And they are 2 completely different communities, but they're communities within themselves. And if you go there for 18 years, as you talk to some of the people there, you'll discover they've been going there for 18 years. You know, it's just what they do. It's a little, so there's lots of little communities, much in the way that Los Angeles is, a ton of little tiny towns. It really isn't one big city where we all connect with each other. You know, we can drive 5 miles to the north in Simi Valley, and it is a different vibe, man. Just a different vibe. Doesn't mean that they're not warm and kind people. I'm just saying that it's just different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like we grew up to Ventura. You know, we have
Ventura,
we have a whole different scene up there, and, and they're really receptive. You know.
Yeah. There's a little small, a small town west of us. You've probably heard of it. It's near Santa Barbara, called Ventura.
Oh yeah.
You've certainly heard of Ventura Boulevard if you've ever heard a Tom Petty song. And so the city of Ventura is this really underserved.
A beach community.
Yeah, it's a beach community, but it's underserved in terms of rock and roll. And when we go out there, oh my God, the magic that happens it's fucking crazy. Dude.
It's like almost like they're starving for something like that. Like they.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, I'm not saying that we're the sandwich they want to eat. I'm just saying every time we go there, we get really lucky, and we're very fortunate, and they make us feel like we're rock stars. It is an unbelievably kind and giving community, and we play this club called the Sewer. I'm not joking. Your living room is probably bigger, but it packs with 55 people. It is absolutely packed, and they go crazy, like it's if they're seeing the biggest band of their lives. It's just a wonderful experience.
We got a club in Metairie. It's called the Babylon, and it's literally big enough for the drummer and the sing. They're right there in front of him, and that's the bar right in front of them. But and you're right, and people go there to have that kind of interaction and fun, and it doesn't take a stadium to have a good time, you know, full of people. But you're right, like about 40 to 60 people in there, man. It's a crammed house, man, and plus all whatever's going on outside too. So, oh my God, the cat. I'm gonna have to go lock her up or something.
We don't hear her at all.
Yeah. Well, you know, I guess because that is, I'm really not familiar with how that works, because I know there's a whole stretch of lots of town.
Is a cat about once every year they want to have babies.
Oh, the cat.
Oh, what are you talking about?
The scene, man. Oh, she is dying for some babies. I don't know. Anyway, but I guess the reason why I'm asking is because like a lot of I guess there's a lot of bands that come out of Los Angeles that are famous. You know, they get big and huge and all that, and to the point to where it's like, does every band come out of that area? that makes it, you
No.
know? And I mean, what exactly is the difference if you're playing that many? Because I mean, me personally, I think that y'all's music has that get out there and do it like that. You know, I personally do. I mean, I don't know if that's what, you know, y'all's ambitions are for the music, but
Sure.
and that's just me. I mean, my opinion's, you know, nothing, I guess. But I mean, hell, I bet you I'm not the only one. You said that, you know, people come out and see y'all at that place often. You know, they blow it out. So it's like, you know, what I mean, it's what kind of, I guess the scene is like, is everybody really trying to like sell their soul to get famous there, or is people really doing it to have fun? And that the people that y'all are in the bands that y'all are familiar with around there.
The answer is it depends.
Yeah, you can tell. You can see the ones where it's, you know, it's just a group of people who are thrown together to kind of appease, you know, some sort of, you know,
Svengali.
yeah, to like, you know, you know, get everybody on board with them, you know, or they have one person who looks like this, and it's just, you know, it's just like it's basically like a boy band, but it's, you know, they're trying to be like a more punk version, and then those, they, you know, they usually don't sound that great, and you can tell. And then there's other bands where, you know, you can just see that they're having fun and they're having a good time,
And they really believe in themselves.
yeah, and even if they're not that great, they're still having a good time, and it makes them that much better, as opposed to like a, you know, a factory created super band that they think is going to be the next, you know, big thing.
Yeah, it turns into a statistics game, really, man. I mean, we our city's what, 10 to 15 million, depending on how you're counting it.
That's our whole
So
state.
it's an absurd. Yeah, exactly. I mean, so imagine bringing your entire state into one little area. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're gonna see the ones who, like Lance said, are the ones that are all kind of factory based and fake, or they just lost sight of what. Dude, I was watching L.A. Confidential yesterday, and there's this one really kind of pivotal point. It's an old film noir movie from the '90s, and there's this pivotal point where one of the characters is asked, "Why'd you become a cop?" And he goes, "I can't remember." And it was a really, really cool point where he realized that he'd lost sight of why he was a cop. And a lot of musicians out here are like that. And then there's people like us who we have to work to make sure that we're on the right path and that we believe in each other. And I'm not saying that that's contrived. I'm just saying that just like any strong relationship, you have to work for it. You know, it's a lot of hard work, and there's not a lot of payoff. Dude, we're so in the hole. I mean, every musician you've ever met in your life is probably negative in debt. You know? They don't make any money at it, you know. But for some fucking reason, we love it, you know. And for some fucking reason, we also believe we're making something special here. We can feel it, we can sense it. It's a little different than bands that I've been in the past, where, man, it's this combination. It's the alchemy of these three guys and the wisdom of our experience. You know, the stuff that we bring to the table, the individual experiences that Greg has, the individual experiences that Lance has, the stuff that I bring to the table as well. That's, I think, what defines us. And so we come into practice and we go, okay, let's try stuff. Let's just play in the sandbox and let's be creative. And let's not go, what does Brian like? And what is Brian going to think of us when we play live? You know, and I know I kind of came back to that theme, but it's true, you know?
No, I mean, I totally get it, and that's what draws me to do kind of what I do, and you know, covering bands, and me personally, my preference is metal or hardcore, but and some people say, oh, I listen to everything. Well, me personally, I really don't listen to everything, but I
And
do.
that's honest, man. That's good.
Hey, I give everything a shot, and just so happens like my ears can tell if it's, you know, appealing to me. I mean, it might not be my favorite or anything like that, but like I listened to y'all's whole album probably about 4 times in the last 2 or 3 days. And honestly, it's was getting familiar with it. Like I can tell the vibe by chatting with y'all. That's y'all are doing that. You know, that's y'all are portraying y'all's, you know, emotions and feelings right there, you know, through the music. And I'm not saying the judge of visual character, but hell, I saw y'all perform just now. So, you know, I could tell right there that y'all are, you know, enjoying yourselves. And I like bands that, that chemistry goes beyond, just making a song, and but yeah, man, let me go ahead and ask you 50 questions in a row right quick. Loosen up, guys. Nah, I'm nervous as fuck.
Really, man, whatever you want. Hey, you know what? One of you're sort of touching on a theme that I've brought up many, many times when we're being interviewed or when we've gotten a lot of like press recently, and a lot of times they ask a lot of similar questions to you're asking, but this band was built from the inside out. It wasn't with a concept that's like, ooh, let's just get you on stage and we'll deal with the music later. No, we made sure that the music was good first. And then once the music was good, we're like, okay, well, we can't bring this shit on stage until it sounds good. And that took a lot of work. I'm not going to joke, because the difference between good food and great food is that detail, that attention to detail,
You can tell the difference.
Yeah, and my favorite thing in the world is when someone doesn't think they're going to like us, they come to our show and they go, oh, I get it. These guys actually work hard, and I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that.
And that
I don't need a pat on the back. I just want the acknowledgement that, yeah, this is why it's hard.
Well, just the quality of the recordings on y'all's EP, and I'm glad that song, what is it, Drag Me Down? What is it?
Yeah.
I'm glad that one made the cut on the on the EP.
Right.
That you can tell that's what it was, just dedication and hard work, and the
we recorded that song in here.
The quality is great. I mean, and I think that I think it means the quality is better when the bands have an idea of their of themselves, of what they're trying to put out, instead of just trying to put something out. And there's some doozies out there, believe me. I listen to a lot of doozies.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I think I think a lot of our style became honed during the pandemic because we didn't have much to do. Everything was closed. There was nowhere we could play, so we just really just sat down and just really worked out songs. And so it just really started to evolve from there. And it just, it was like, ooh, this is cool. And that just kind of was it all came together during that time. And, I think that really, really was a big turning point for us as far as our chemistry together and just figuring out our kind of niche of how we want to go about it. Because, we started right before the pandemic and we were still finding our way because we had just gotten together. And then during that time, we had nothing to do but listen to music, listen to other people, the other guys' ideas. And then that's where it was like, yeah, this is working, man. This is great. And it all just came together.
It's a blessing in disguise, actually. Yeah. I mean, listen, it's a terrible thing to say in light of how it affected the world, but I just mean specifically in the way we dealt with it.
Man, y'all didn't give up, and that's great.
Right.
Just in itself.
We could have gotten really frustrated and go, you know what, maybe this wasn't our time and blah, blah, blah. But we just went long game on it. Just went, okay, well, hell, dude, the first 6 months, I'm not joking. We practiced with masks. And all politics aside, we were just trying to preserve our health. We didn't want anyone to get sick.
Exactly.
Well, before that, we sent us music and we worked on parts.
Yeah, we were recording stuff with Zoom on home.
Zoom meetings. We were doing Zoom meetings just to try, which was really hard at the time because Lance would go like this, and I would start singing, and we would be off by a couple of seconds. So it didn't always work out, but we did the best we could,
I believe it or not, I as soon as they mentioned like COVID lockdowns and stuff like that, my band was like, okay, we're quit. I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean, man? There's so many other options we could probably do. I mean, it was like there was a waiting for an excuse, but and we were a band probably about 2 years before, for 2 years up until that point. And man, it was so I was just like, so I stopped, being in a band and stuff, and that was what 6 or so years ago. So but oh well, but I applaud people, and a lot of people's bands have told me they've honed in on their talent, their skills, their dedication, and they bonded with the people they want to make music with, and especially like in areas when those kinds of rules was more strict in other areas and stuff, and a lot of bands still get it done, and I appreciate the bands not giving up, because hell, I've heard a lot of bands that's said those exact words and they're you could tell that they have practiced that whole time to, you know, before they were shows to come out and just knock it out the park.
Yeah.
So, you know, getting into that, I mean, how long has the band been together? And, you know, I know y'all kind of touched on it a minute ago, but, you know, y'all met.
It really started right before the pandemic. That's just the best way to describe it. It was right before the pandemic. I don't think we would have been ready to play when the pandemic officially occurred. I think maybe we would have been ready a few months later, but in retrospect, we weren't ready at all. We really needed a lot more material. I think we probably would have been impatient and started just pushing towards getting out live. And as a result, it allowed us or forced us to slow down and go, okay, let's try to write as many songs as we can. Let's get a set list that's proper, and let's define who we are, you know?
So the combination of a guitar, drummer, and a synth, how does that to y'all, that is the combination that works best for y'all?
Yeah.
Well, I think the synth was sort of a huge part of how we started writing, was that like the sound is like, okay, that's, you know, let's start with the bass part, and that synth sound sort of directed the approach, you know, and the style quite a bit, and not having a bass player.
Yeah. The bass, I'm the bass player, really, if you think about it. So that one Moog up top carries 99% of our bass tone. There's actually some songs where we'll have like verse sections that there's no bass, it's just the guitar playing, just because we didn't use it. Right. You know?
Oops.
Yeah, we're just like, let's just drop out on this and see what it sounds like. Hey man, I remember one time I was it's an old band, a guy named Tim Palmer. He's a really great engineer, producer, mixer. And he did Pearl Jam's 10. He produced that record. And he's mixed a ton. But I remember one time I was listening to him mix one of my band's songs, and he would just listen back on choruses and verses, and he would mute the bass. Just occasionally would mute it. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? He's like, I'm just trying stuff. And he found that it can be musical just to take the bass out in spots. And it became like this really cool thing. And I'm like, hey, you know what? That's cool. So like in Two Shakes, our entire verse, there's no bass guitar. It's just the guitar and the drums and this Space Invaders version of a synthesizer.
I love all of that, all of them sounds and stuff, man. Those are great.
Yeah, and then like Pickle was just saying, when the bass kicks in, boom, you know,
synth,
sort of like
dramatic.
Sort of like a build up without all the smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean? And it just kind of just hits you right, right when it happens.
And we're all about smoke and mirrors, by the way. We love fog. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. No, yeah, exactly. It was just, it cuts to the point. And you know what's interesting about being a three-piece is it forces us to cut stuff, to remove, to clear out.
Yeah. And we really try to, all of our recordings, we replicate live, so we don't add a lot of things that we can't perform live. And, you know, there was a talk of possibly, you know, should we get other members? And it's like, no, we're just, you know, the way we all work together, it's like, you don't want something that's working so well, like bringing another element into it could potentially destroy that. It's like, we got what we got. It's working great. We're putting out great music that we're all having fun playing.
We don't need any more shows.
Yes. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right.
Yeah.
So,
but you touched on a really good point about the whole, the way we record. We tried our best to not have so many layers that we're incapable of performing it live. So like I've actually gotten to the point to where when it comes to my synths, I don't use software synths anymore for our recording. Because I want to be able to duplicate it using what I have live.
So you just do the native sounds on there?
I would just use my native sounds, or if I don't even bother filling them up. You know, there's a keyboard I'm about to sell that I can't have on stage, so I don't need it. So I'm getting rid of it.
I mean, I'm sure everybody's been to a show where, you know, you listen to a song and you're like, oh, I love this album and it's great. And you go see them live and you're like, well, that didn't sound anything.
It's like a total different sample, voice sample.
Yeah. And it's, you know, or and then you hear like, you know, some of these bands like canceling tour dates because they've lost their laptop. It's like,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's all kind of stuff like that.
I don't want them to be sad. That's terrible. But
they can't perform because they don't have a laptop.
Yeah.
And it's like
that's messed up.
That's like.
Well, I think it's the same thing with the guitar sounds. I mean, your guitar sounds, we spend time. That doesn't sound. It doesn't sound like the record. Let's.
Yep.
You know, like every time like you change equipment, it's like.
Oh yeah, you got to go all the way through it.
It's not like a distorted guitar sound is not the same as the other distorted guitar sound. You know, and if you want it to sound like the song, and you want to have a. I mean, it comes down to you are a product, you know. You want to represent yourself the way you sound.
And we do have the SPDX drum sample pad, but we don't play the backing tracks. It's all just triggered claps and different sounds. No backing tracks, none of that stuff.
Yeah, our intent is to perform all of it.
Right. We just want to be a great live band first and foremost. Like, if you come see us live, you're gonna have a good time. It's going to sound like you want it to sound, and that's the fun in it. And that's hopefully what people want to see live show. That's what they're going to get.
Well, that's
the fun thing is, even though we're very kind of like, I don't know, I almost want to say pop in the sense that we're melodic. We draw our inspiration live from like bands like Rage Against the Machine, just bands that
have that energy that.
The energy of live. When you see us live, you'll be like, oh, I see what. You're gonna be like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? There's no way you're comparing yourself to Rage Against the Machine. I'm not. I'm comparing myself to the live.
Oh yeah, of course. And I could tell that listening to the EP it'd be a whole bunch of stuff going on. Dancing for sure, and people enjoying them. It sounds like that would be a party. That's what it sounds like, a party album.
Right. Yeah.
Y'all's touching up on y'all's gear. I will ask. Do you have any equipment that is a must-have and that you'd tell others to get if they needed it? I guess I don't know. Is that computerized enough?
Yeah, right there.
Your laptop. Get your laptop.
Standing in the way. There it is.
No. Yeah, find it, Jerry. You have to have a 28-inch kick drum, right?
Huge.
So I think from my perspective, and this is very, very recently done. I've played. For years and years, I played to an orange amp, had the Line 6 Helix for certain effects. Well, I think, like 2 or 3 months ago, I just got the Fractal FM9, which is the complete modeling footboard.
Yes.
That thing it's sick, man.
Yeah, it's got infinite stuff to do.
It does.
Dude, it's ridiculous. And listen, we're both cynics. We're like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But we have dear friends. I'm from Orlando originally, and I have a dear friend who plays this band called Spasmatic, and they're like a cover band. They're really, really good at what they do. My God, they're a blast. But the guitar player has the exact same thing, and I was like, dude, what's your amp? He's like, no, an amp. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Not even just a little bit. He's like, no, that's just a speaker. That's basically just a stage monitor. I'm like, okay. Everything's changed.
Of course, the Moog is, that's very crucial to our sound. I think more so than that. But I mean,
probably.
But I mean, I know for years there's the whole argument of modeling versus live amps and this, but I was kind of always on the like, wow, I like the tubes pushing the air and all that, but with all the what kind of effect stuff I start to go into, it's like constantly having to find, and I'm like, all right, let's just do it.
And I remember when you and I were talking about it, and we would, because I just yesterday, you and I, Brian, we were nerding about your fucking gear. We do the same thing with music gear. We do the exact same thing.
I love it. I love gear.
We were both watching this YouTube dude who is a FM9 owner, and he was comparing. He's got like tons of analog amps behind him, tons of tube amps. And they were talking, he was like comparing. He's like, okay, now we're going to do this, what do you call it, blind test, and I'm going to play this riff. It's one of my band's riffs, or I think it was.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, you tell me which one was the orange amp and which one was the simulation. And so me and Lance, we got into our, like, using our, like our speaker, like our nice studio speakers. And we both got cocky. We're like, all right, well, we can tell. It's the original, the analog one is B, but the difference is so fucking minuscule that live you're just not going to hear it.
But I think it's also more consistent live. That's one thing, since he's got this the sounds are more consistent.
They're more clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, if you got to lug all that stuff first of all, and y'all's type of music requires a little more than just man, you'd have to have tons of different pedals. I mean,
Exactly right.
And,
Yeah, my pedal board, like I said, I would use the Line 6 Helix, but then, a lot of the stuff in there you didn't like, the compressors suck, all this, so then you've got compression pedals, and then, I've got the MXR Orange Phaser, because that, and it's just like,
well, I think
next thing you know.
I just think a comparison isn't even really good when it comes to that, because like you're not trying to make it the same. You're trying to, utilize the equipment. That's how I look at it. If I can put 100 pedals and make a sound out of there, I'm gonna do that and not tote these fucking 100-pound, heads and stuff upstairs or break them or something like that, But I'm sorry.
That's exactly right, and it's just so it's really helped polish the sound for sure. So if anyone's on the fence about it, get it.
Yeah.
The FM,
or at least
Fractal,
listen to it.
Yeah, at least check. Yeah, I know they're hard to come by.
I know a lot of people that play Fractal. They're definitely worth the money. I like Kemper, but I also don't have a say so.
It was definitely a weighing between that one. Explore the Helix a little bit, but that was a little bit under. Yeah, the Helix is not that great. So
well, they're all different in their own aspect. Some's are
Right.
modelers, some's are profilers. So I mean, it's kind of a different.
Right.
Yeah, and with the Fractal, we were lucky because we had the friend who could at least explain stuff to us. And they suggested some things and gave us some ideas. And hell, I mean, one of the very first things that happened was the whole prosumer versus the +4 versus -10. And he's like, oh man, I should have told you that at the beginning. And it just having that little extra kind of friendship guidance is really helpful. And who knows, you probably would have been happy with the Kemper, but I'm glad.
Yeah.
You'd have been having to call somebody for that too, just to try to figure some of that shit out. So I mean,
right. That was part of the decision. Was like, well, you watch all the reviews and stuff, and then it's like, yeah, they're both, what you can tell, they're both great, but it's like we have experience with the Fractal, so it's like, let's go with that one because we know somebody who can help us with it as opposed to going in blind. So
yeah.
And just the SPDX is great too because it just adds little things to the drums. It's everything to just kind of it's the building the cake. You got the the snare, you got the snare with a little clap next to it. Just
Do y'all practice with triggers or y'all use in-ears?
Yeah.
But I use in-ears for like click track and some other and to hear some of what the sounds are and I do usually have a trigger. I use a trigger on my snare drum and put claps or different kind of effects underneath it. Just kind of a little cherry on the top kind of fun.
Yeah, kind of give you like a live layer instead of a recorded version layer. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that was a really cool advancing of who we are is when we got the SPDSX because it allowed Greg to start to contribute in a creative way that maybe he wasn't before. It's one thing to say, hey man, just give me 4 on the floor and 2 and 4 on the snare and just rock and roll, 120 beats per minute. But now he's got this thing. We saw that.
Happy birthday.
Now he gets really creative and he does stuff that just wouldn't have been there had it not been available to him. It's really fun.
And I've always liked having weird percussion sounds on the kit. I used to do have a lot of more of acoustic sounding. Like I use a car brake drum that or different things you add to the kit. And the SPD SX, I can do a lot of different.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of saw blades and stuff up there.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. As a matter of fact, it's so cool. We're gonna show you. Hold on a second.
Yeah, let's see it.
I'm gonna just turn it.
All right, ready?
Oh yeah.
Can you see this? All right, go back there and Greg, explain what you got.
Oh yeah, that is all. I see that.
All right, I'll hit the
Wait,
saw
hold
blade.
on.
All you get is a saw blade.
Did I get the saw? There it is. You see it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's really nice.
It is really, really cool. And he's got this these two dead hi-hats over here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a bell I made many years ago. Actually, hand-hammered.
He actually hand-hammered that.
So I like
It's fucking loud when you don't have earplugs in, by the way. But yeah, so
and doing
really
stuff
cool
like that, you create or you make stuff like that, right? And then it's like it's specialized because you wanted that sound specifically, so you know exactly when to use it. You know when to, you know, I guess advertise the saw blade. You know, are y'all there?
Yeah, we're
yeah.
can you hear us?
Okay. Yeah. Let me. I gotta fix a little thing right quick.
Okay.
That way we don't. There we go. I want to chop off your head.
Oh, okay.
All right, it's better. I think. So yeah, what y'all what so I was gonna ask kind of like, do y'all have any plans or ambitions to like tour outside of California, or have y'all done that since y'all been a band, or?
No, not yet. Well, we have ambitions.
Mhm.
We don't have plans. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, of course.
we need the music. We need our abilities, and we need a larger fan base in order to accomplish that. We're not. I call them vanity projects when bands go on the road and they play in front of 4 people. I don't know that that serves any purpose whatsoever, especially in the days of the internet. But until we build our band, we have to earn it. But until we build our fan base up to where it's well, we can start making money and we can quit our jobs, then we'll start touring. Until then,
I like that
yeah.
attitude. You just don't want to just go out there and I was gonna say, yeah, come on down here 1,200 miles and see if you can get a show for 10 people.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we're not in our 20s anymore, and even if we were in our 20s, we wouldn't be able to afford it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, if someone were to say, hey, come on down to, there's this, outdoor festival here that, is going to have,
such and such amount of people.
2,500 people, 1,000 people,
Oh,
it's a weekend thing. That might be worth it. But yeah,
That's different.
to drive into Arizona to play on a Thursday night in the local bar for 15 locals is like, what are we accomplishing? It's just, it can't, it's spinning your wheels too much, and you can get burned out really quick doing
You can
that.
get burned out, right?
I think trying to get on shows where you're opening up for a bigger band, I think that's more like a next step for us than it is to go drive somewhere outside of our. We have a little bit of a fan base here. I'd rather kind of
improve that.
Yeah, do that unless there's something that's gonna take us to the next level.
Right. And like a place like Ventura, which is about an hour away, that's different. I think we can accomplish that, and that's something that we've done this year that we've started to expand. And gratefully, a place like that has allowed us to come in there and sort of foster a fan base. Those fans are actually starting to travel to Los Angeles and see us in Los Angeles, which is just
that's the coolest.
Yeah,
that's the
coolest
coolest thing, man. Dude, and listen, we're humble, man. We're not going, it's Wembley or bust. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. We'll play Wembley one day, hopefully, but fuck, until then, we have to play Ventura and make sure that they like us. And then maybe San Diego, and then maybe Riverside. And then as it expands, and maybe there'll be this critical mass sort of tipping point to where all of a sudden the numbers start to take off, and then it'll start to make sense to do the things that you're suggesting.
So what you're saying is thinking of it realistically is the best way to go.
Yeah, pragmatic.
And have fun with it.
If we can get our song in like a cat video, like on TikTok or something,
Yeah.
I mean
There's that.
something like that might help out.
Let's try to do that, man. We get a trending song. Like,
Hey, Brian,
yes,
I
sir.
need to bring up a quick little point of order. It breaks my heart I have to say this because I know we're having a blast doing this, but Greg sort of needs to tend to a family emergency.
Okay.
That just happened about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours. You had mentioned that you want us to maybe play one more song. Did you want to do that and maybe we close shop?
Before
normally we would have let you just go with it, but
no, that's perfectly fine. Like I said, we just we talked about it earlier, yesterday and stuff. It's totally understandable. Let me just I do want to ask, or you can let the listeners know how they can reach y'all and everything. I know y'all did it at the beginning.
Yeah.
A little bit
I
about
appreciate you mentioning that.
a little bit about the EP, and other than that though, yeah, I'm cool. I'm having a blast, and yeah, this has been a blast, and
yeah.
But
first of all, we were supposed to fuck with you. I forgot about this.
Well,
your podcast is called Local Riffs, and we're from Los Angeles. Can you please explain that to me?
all right, so
It's Loco Riffs.
Oh, there you
Loco.
go.
You read it wrong.
Well, I do call it local riffs because at the first, I mean, I don't know if y'all fucking with me now. Now I'm gonna have to go down this whole this tunnel.
No, you don't have to go down.
No.
Please don't.
It is pretty simple though. It's more of like it's not about me, my local scene. It's about the local scene. That's kind of
Okay.
what I was trying to touch on earlier about, you know, local scenes in there and everything. And
Got it.
of course, you know, my demographic, I'm closer to where I'm at. So yeah, obviously I'm capturing more of my local scene, which spans about 4 states. You know what I'm saying? So
Right,
down
right.
here,
I've seen you go to Texas before. And report
South
to
Florida, Atlanta, you know, we go to North Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama.
That's fantastic.
Um,
Well, listen, I just want to say from the bottom of our heart, it is without question an honor to be here with you, and I want to express our gratitude
mhm.
for what you do for bands. I don't know if you hear it enough, but you should, man. We are incapable of being what we hope to become without your help.
Well,
And thank you.
I'm here to help. So, and that's the whole gist behind
Yeah.
local riffs, man. It's not about me. It's about the bands. It's about the music. It's about the people in the community, and you know, reaching out, you know, to y'all and us doing this is tremendous to me. For me, it's like I'm going on tour. You know, I talked to some more bands, you know, another band from Los Angeles, you know, and I think it's cool.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
You know, I was
To
gonna.
answer your question, to all of your fans and to all of your listeners, we are called the Baby Goats. Our debut album is called Electricity. It's a waterfall release, which essentially means that we're releasing a song about every 6 to 8 weeks. We started releasing in February. We released 6 songs so far. We're going to continue until the album is complete. So please follow us on Instagram at the Baby Goats Music. On Spotify is the Baby Goats. Facebook is the Baby Goats. TikTok is the Baby Goats. And we're grateful. Instagram is probably the best way to get a hold of us. The best way to find out what we're up to and what we're doing. That is our primary source. We mirror everything over to Facebook. TikTok, we don't understand, so we would like to say that we're technically on TikTok. But bless
It is
TikTok
difficult.
off, man. You tell me how the fuck to figure that thing out, and you let me know. But right now we're like, okay. So we release stuff on TikTok just like we release it on Instagram. But Instagram really is our connection to our fans. We get really good feedback there, reactions there.
I know y'all pressed for time. What? How did y'all find about local riffs?
Dude, I think you found us.
I know it had to have been some kind of, you know, posting something.
And the reason is I noticed because I pretty much manage the Instagram page, and I noticed that you were liking a lot of our stories.
Mm-hmm.
So I investigated you, and I noticed you were a podcast. I'm like, hey man, and I think I reached out to you and just said, hey, anytime you want to have us on your show, just let me know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if y'all
want to hear one more song, or did you want to call it a night?
Hell yeah, let's hear another song. If y'all got time for it.
Do you have? Say again?
Did you tell me Instagram? What the Instagram?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. At the Baby Goats Music at Instagram. Greg wanted to be very, very clear on
Sorry about that.
Because if you just look at the Baby Goats, you're gonna get a lot of it.
Yeah.
All right, let's play.
Well, here's the thing. We were gonna play a song called "Won't Stop Waiting," but you did mention drag. Which would you rather hear? "Won't Stop Waiting" or drag?
Y'all choose. Y'all the ones.
No, dude, it's your fucking choice.
Drag.
All right, there you go. See? All right, hold on 1 second. We're gonna put everything back, so give us a couple seconds.
Don't worry, I gotta adjust also. Just letting all the listeners out there know. I mean, I don't know if there's anybody on the stream or not, but I want to say thank you again for everybody supporting the page, and thank you for watching the live streams. Thank you for Baby Goats, the Baby Goats, because you know, making the connections with other bands across the nation and stuff like that really is the whole point behind the show. And if y'all are out there listening and y'all want to get on the show, just go to the the link in the bio and get something set up. I mean, you know, people from Los Angeles is clicking it, and they're interested, and they're having a good time. We're about to watch a performance by them. So that being said.
Hold on 1 second. We have to power something up. We'll be right there. Yeah, having that microphone on it, man, you can barely hear. Hold on.
Yo.
It's really loud. I don't know why. What's loud? His click. Did you notice that? All right.
Looking good. Looking real good.
All right, can you hear us?
Yeah, let's try it. Oh, yeah.
Your plugs are coming back in. This is a song called Drag You Down With Me. It's on the record. Nope. Still setting this thing up. All right, can you see us all right?
Everything is okay. Yep.
All right, let's do it. It's like part of the race. It's somewhere you render. How about the fly? If you go slowly, walk the mile in both directions. You ready to go? Don't fool yourself. It's the same old connection. Jump on the table. Give a love snare. While you're looking out there. No fair. You say, I don't know how to know. I don't know if you're coming along later. Run back down. Up and over lonely. Drag you down. Drag you down with me. If you're upside down. Up and over lonely. I can drag you down. Drag you down with me. Drag you down with me. Where you think you're going? Where you think you have to? This way, that way. 'Cause if you say it's going nowhere, you feel missing out when it's already over. Don't you know down below, level up, keep going on one man show. If you're upside down, up and down below there, I can drag you down, drag you down with me. If you're upside down, up and down below there, drag you down, drag you down with me, drag you down with me. You're upside down, over never below there. I can drag you down, drag it down with me. Drag you upside down, over never below there. Drag you down, drag it down with me. Drag it down, you're upside down, over never below there. Drag it down, drag it down with me. Drag it down with me.
All right, man. Yeah.
There you go, brother.
Well, y'all have a good day, man.
Have a great
Thanks a
weekend.
lot.
Thank you so much.
Talk to you again.
Take care now. Bye bye.